guys, welcome back to Zell's Little Hobbies, and in today's video we are going to be doing a non-spoiler review for Spider-Man Far From Home. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. So first off, I should say this, shout out to my cousin Nick, because the fact is I actually was just planning to sit on my butt on 4th of July and watch Stranger Things all day is what I was planning to do. Instead, he rolls up and says, you know what? I have a friend going to go see this movie. You want to come join me? And I did. It was absolutely awesome. That's how I spent my 4th of July. Tell me down in the comments below how you spent your 4th of July. And let's go ahead and start talking about Far From Home. What are my initial thoughts about this movie? Well, the fact is, this movie, if you know anything about Spider-Man lore, you will know about the villain. And this is technically a spoiler for the movie, but I mean, come on. Anyone who knows anything about Spider-Man, including the TV shows or the comic books or anything, you know who Mysterio is. Now, I'm not going to explain his powers or anything like that, but I will say this. It's really predictable. You know that this hero that the movie is trying to tell us is obviously going to end up being the villain. Okay? I think we can all agree that that was going to happen. And while it was very predictable, I will say this, it was surprisingly very entertaining. Very entertaining. Throughout the whole movie, I was like, alright, so when is he going to turn? And just at when they brought up just in a fun and enjoyable way, where actually it was really satisfying. Now, before we go forward, I guess I should explain this when it comes to Spider-Man. The fact is, when I was a kid, Spider-Man was my first introduction to Marvel of anything. I used to watch reruns of a old Spider-Man TV show when I was a kid. I loved it. And interestingly enough, Spider-Man is not my favorite character. That would be, of course, Iron Man. And the reason why is obvious, because of what Iron Man stands for, really. I mean, Iron Man, just the bare story of Iron Man, was a guy who got hurt, who turned his greatest injury into his best weapon. Not with his heart, but with his mind. And that's why I absolutely 100% love Iron Man. Iron Man's always going to be my favorite character. But with that said, I will say this. The first introduction I've ever had to live action Spider-Man was, of course, the Tobey Maguire Sony Spider-Man movies, and I really enjoyed the first one, and I loved the second one. I know a lot of people have problems with the second Spider-Man movie. I loved it because of what it was able to do with the character of Doc Ock, and just like in that movie, what this movie is able to do with the character of Mysterio really just got to me. I really enjoyed the character of Mysterio. In fact, I would say the character of Mysterio is why you go see this movie. Now, if you want to talk about not Far From Home, Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming. What that movie stands for in terms of Iron Man is why I like that movie. The progression of the character of Iron Man in that movie, as well as just how much Tony Stark means to Iron Man. You really get to see it in that movie, and I absolutely love it because of that. But I'll be honest with you, I really didn't care about the character of Peter Parker, the character of Spider-Man. I mean, there's not much more to say than, We kind of already know the story of Spider-Man. We know how it goes. I will say this. What they were able to do with the character of Spider-Man in this movie surprised me. And it was just fantastic. Like, they really changed the character in ways that I didn't think they were going to go. I mean, when I first went to go see this movie, I was really just expecting just to see, I just wanted to see the repercussions of, spoilers for Endgame, the death of Tony Stark. But the fact is, while that is a humongous part of the movie, what they were able to do with the character of Spider-Man because of the loss of Iron Man really just made me a fan of Spider-Man again, and I really enjoyed it. This has to be downright the absolute best iteration of Spider-Man I've ever seen in anything. Comics, books, TV shows, I don't care what it is. This is the best iteration of Spider-Man I have ever seen. It's actually made me care about Spider-Man again. That's fantastic to me. And Tom Holland is a fantastic, amazing actor. I mean, when he was first introduced as Spider-Man, it was fun in Civil War, but I never thought much about it. Then you had Far From Home, and I always thought he was a good actor, but I never thought he was going to be Robert Downey Jr. But in this movie, my God, he really does become the Spider-Man character, and it's just a fantastic watch. It really, really is. And something else that I just loved about this movie was there's this really small scene, and you guys kind of know how these are. The hero of the story gets beat by the villain. He's at his lowest point. He gets some heroic words from someone, and then he rises back up to become the hero and defeat the villain of the day. That's basically what happens. It's a common Marvel movie trope, but at the same time, I love what Happy says to Tony Stark. Says about Tony Stark in this scene. So, Peter Parker is, of course, throughout this movie dealing with the death of Iron Man, and he doesn't really know if he can stand up to him. He doesn't know if he can take the role that Tony Stark was. And I love what Happy says here. Happy says that you're not Iron Man. You're never going to be Iron Man. Tony Stark couldn't even become the best Iron Man he wanted to be. Or I'm paraphrasing, it's something along those lines. He also says Tony Stark was my best friend and stuff like that, and then, but the most greatest moment of the whole speech was at the end when he says Tony Stark contradicted himself a lot, but he didn't contradict himself about one thing: you. Now, what are you going to do? And that's when he rises up and becomes the Spider-Man we need him to be. I loved it. I thought that scene made the movie for me, to be honest with you. That scene made the movie for me. And of course, the villain Mysterio. Ever since I was really little, my favorite Spider-Man villains were always Venom, the Lizard, and then I guess when you talk about the movies, it would probably be Doc Ock. But really, I always thought Mysterio would be incredible with our special effects, and they just never did it. Well, I'm happy to say that they have done it, and with our special effect technology that we have today, Mysterio was the greatest Spider-Man villain I have ever seen in any iteration of Spider-Man that I really liked. I really, really liked Mysterio. Just the way they took his character was just a whole lot of fun. It was a great movie. And if you haven't seen it yet, why haven't you? go see it. Let me know down in the comments below if you have seen it. What are your thoughts about the movie? Again, no spoilers in the comments, please, because this is supposed to be a non-spoiler review. I will be doing a spoiler review, and I will also be doing another video talking about the future of not Spider-Man, but Marvel Cinematic Universe. And here's the thing about Spider-Man that I didn't realize that they were going to go this route. So when it comes to the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, everyone thought, oh, it's going to be Miss Marvel. She was going to be the one that carried the torch through. But that didn't happen at all. You know who is going to carry the torch for the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? It's the protege of Iron Man. And I actually really like that. I don't know what I'm saying. But Spider-Man's going to be the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's because of this movie that makes me excited to see what they do with the Spider-Man character. That is all I have to say about this movie. Thank you guys for watching. And I will be, of course, doing a spoiler review. And then I will be doing a video just talking about the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, thanks to what happened in this movie. Thank you guys for watching, and I am out. Bye.